We'll pray for you.
Thank you.
Pray for the hand, please. It's a dangerous world.
Yeah.
Shoo.
What I was born with, it's not there.
What's that?
What I was born with, it's not there.
Anyway, the worst possible thing is we take birth in the devotee family in the next life, so it's not so bad. Since I've been gone, we had a number of people either pass away or now they're getting ready to pass away. Oh my God, it's a dangerous world.
Well, we chose to come here.
Yeah, we chose to come here. We have one person in North Carolina who's a young man, like in his 20s, and he's getting ready to leave his body right now. Acute liver failure and kidney failure and everything like that in his 20s. The son of one of the devotees. And then we have another disciple in Brisbane who just diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Another disciple in Brisbane just had a brain operation. Oh my God. What's that?
This is fine.
Your phone.
Your brother's fine.
Oh, Coffee's phone. Anyway, so this world is not a nice place. Not a nice place at all. Anything can happen at any moment. Just like this morning, I was walking in the park, and there was this beautiful white parrot. You know, the white parrots with a little crest on them? The parrot got attacked by the crows, and the crows tore the parrot to pieces.
Oh my God, Krishna.
Usually they're very naughty. They do that to
The crows, you mean?
Yeah, it's opposite usually.
It was hellish. I was such a beautiful bird, and the crows are so ugly. Yeah, I was just thinking, oh my God, and something so beautiful. And next thing I knew, there was just a pile of feathers on the ground. It's hellish, isn't it? Oh my God. Anyway, it's a matter that we just have to be Krishna conscious in this world. Even though it's such an intense place. Whew. Jaya Radha Madhuva Kunya Vihare 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 Gopi Ganamalava Girivaradhanuti Jaya Gopi Ganamalava Girivaradhari Gopi Ganamalava Girivaradhanuti Jaya Gopi Ganamalava Girivaradhari Sudhanandana Rajajana Ranjana Sudhanandana Rajajana Ranjana Sudhanandana Rajajana Ranjana Sudhanandana Yamunatira Vanacharudi Yamunatira Vanacharudi Yamunatira Vanacharudi Yamunatira Vanacharudi Jaya Madhuva Kunya Vihari Jaya Prabhupada, Paramahamsa, Paravakacharya, all Sutera, Sitashi, Shimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya, Charananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Koti, Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shitwade Gadada, Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Ki Jai, Charan Ki Jai, Jagannath Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Srimati Kalasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Guru Shri. Do we have a Bhagavatam here?
Yes.
Tomorrow I'll bring my ebook, but any Bhagavatam is good. Just from the first 9 cantos. Any Bhagavatam. Okay. That's good. Okay. Oh my God. Avatar and Nrsimha.
Jai.
Okay. It's a good verse. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 8th chapter, text 11. So those of you who have devices. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Shri Aranyakashipur
Hiranyakashipur
Uvacha
Vyaktam
Tvam Matu Kamo Asi Ya Atimatram Vikatase Amurshuna Mandatma Nano Sur Viklava Gira Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha Yaktam Tvam Artukamosi Yotimatram Vikatyase Mukshunam Himandatman Nanushur Viklavagira Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha Avyaktam Tvam Artukamosi Yotimatram Vikatyase Mukshunam Himandatman Nanushur Viklavagira Shri Hiranyakashipur Uvacha Vaktam tvam rartukamupsi.
Vyaktam tvam artukamosi.
Yotimatram vikathase.
Yotimatram vikatase.
Mumukshunam himandatman.
Mumushunam himandatman.
Nanusyur viklavagira.
Nanushurviklavagira.
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Vyakvam tvam artukamoshi
Vyaktam tvam artukamosi.
Yoti matram vikattase
Yotimatram vikatase.
Mumurshunam himadanatman
Mumushunam himandatman.
Nanushur viklavagira
Nanushurviklavagira.
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Vyaktam tvam artukamoshi
Vyakvam tvam artukamoshi
Yoti matram vikattase
Yoti matram vikattase
Mumurshunam himandatman
Mumushunam himandatman.
Nanushur viklavagiraha
Nanushur viklavagira
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Vyaktam tvam artukamosi
Vyakvam tvam artukamoshi
Yoti matram vikathase
Yoti matram vikattase
Mumushunam himandatman
Mumukshunam himandatman.
Nanosyur viklavagiraha
Nanushur viklavagira
Ladies.
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Vyaktam tvam artukamosi
Vyakvam tvam artukamoshi
Yoti matram vikathase
Yoti matram vikattase
Mumushunam himandatman
Mumushunam himandatman
Nanosyur viklavagiraha
Nanushur viklavagira
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
Vyaktam artukamosmi
Vyaktam tvam artukamosi
Yoti matram vikattase
Yoti matram vikattase
Mumushunam himandatman
Mumushunam himandatman
Nanushu viklavagiraha
Nanushur viklavagira
All right. Shri Hiranyakashipu Uvacha.
Shri Hiranyakashipuruvacha
The blessed Hiranyakashipu said,
The blessed Hiranyakashipu said
Vyaktam,
Vyaktam
evidently,
evidently
Tvam,
Tvam,
you, Martukama,
Mantukama
desirous of death,
desirous of death
Asi,
Asi
are,
Ya,
one who,
one who
Atimatram,
Atimatram
without limit,
without limit
Vikatase,
Vikatase
are boasting,
are boasting
as if you had conquered your senses,
as if you had conquered your senses,
whereas your father could not do so.
whereas your father could not do so.
Mumukshunam,
Mumushunam,
of persons who are about to meet immediate death.
persons who are about to meet immediate death.
He, indeed,
Indeed,
Manahatman,
Mandatman,
oh unintelligent rascal.
O unintelligent rascal,
Nanu,
Nanu,
certainly.
certainly,
Shu,
Shu,
become.
become,
Viklava,
Viklava,
confused.
confused,
Gira,
Gira,
the words.
the words.
Translation. Hiranyakashipu replied, "You rascal, you are trying to minimize my value as if you were better than me at controlling the senses. This is over-intelligent. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands. For this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged in by those about to die. So purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is stated in the Hitopadesha, Upadesho hi Kanam Prakopaya Vashantaye. If good instructions are given to a foolish person, he does not take advantage of them, but becomes more and more angry. Prahlad Maharaj's authorized instructions to his father were not accepted by Hiranyakashipu as truth. Instead, Hiranyakashipu became extremely angry at his great son, who was a pure devotee. This kind of difficulty always exists when a devotee preaches Krishna consciousness to persons like Hiranyakashipu, who are interested in money and women. The word Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu refers to cushions or good bedding. Moreover, a father does not like to be instructed by his son, especially if the father is a demon. Prahlad Maharaj's Vaishnava preaching to his demoniac father was indirectly effective, for because of Hiranyakashipu's excessive jealousy of Krishna and his devotee, he was inviting Shringadev to kill him very quickly. Thus he was expediting his being killed by the Lord himself. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he is described here by the added word Shri. Why? The answer is that fortunately he had such a great devotee son as Prahlad Maharaj. Thus, although he was a demon, he would attain salvation and return home back to Godhead. Nice verse. Shri Hiranyakashipur uvacha yaktam tvam martu kamosi yo vitam tivita tram vikattase vamukshudam himandatman manushur viklava gidaha. So Om Gana Timidandasha Ranjana Shlakya Chakshur Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha. So, good to see everybody. Welcome, everybody. So, anyway, one thing that's very interesting here is Prahlad Maharaj is illustrating the fact that he's a Mahabhagavad. And he's not a Majjhima Adhikari. So a Majjhima Adhikari, which is, I guess, all of us, any Mahabhagavats here? Raise your, oh, you're raising your hand. I said, any Mahabhagavats. So, Majjhima Adhikari, which is what we're supposed to be at this point, is someone who distinguishes between who you should preach to and who you should not. Just like we have that offense on the chanting of the Lord's holy names, to preach the glories of the Lord to those who are offensive. So the question is Prahlad Maharaj offending Krishna or offending the holy? No, he's not. Because the 10 offenses are only there for the Majjhima Adhikaris and the Kanishta Adhikaris. Of course, Kanishta Adhikaris, just by their very nature, they're offensive. Because what? They see Krishna only in the deity, and they see Vaishnavas only in the Guru. I'm actually expanding the definition right now. Instead of seeing all the Vaishnavas, all living entities who have Krishna in their hearts, they just see Krishna's on the altar. And of course, you remember that movie, Maha Avatar, which I've seen, I think, 6 times now, for the mercy of Vaishnavas. So, as soon as Prahlad Maharaj prays for the mercy of Lord Vishnu, he begins to see Krishna everywhere.
Yeah.
Such a wonderful vision, isn't it?
Yeah.
He turns around, sees Krishna in the trees and the mountains and everyone's heart, and he's just completely ecstatic. He also sees Krishna in the pillar too, which is helpful. So that's the vision of a Mahabharata. So a Madhyamadikari has to theoretically understand that point, even though he may not see it. A Madhyamadikari doesn't see with his eyes because he hasn't yet purified his spiritual vision. So he is there tissue or something like that?
Yes,
Tissue,
this.
someone get this
And
tissue.
then in the.
No, there's some here too. You come well prepared for crying. Anyway. So, anyway, so a Kanishta just sees Krishna in the temple, and he's naturally committing offenses throughout his whole day. I mean, even if he's chanting the Lord's holy names, I think he's offending the Vaishnavas. He doesn't understand Sambandha Gyan, the tattvas. He doesn't understand who is Krishna, what are the jiva souls, what is the material energy, what is the spiritual energy, what is the relationship between all these different energies, the tattvas of the Lord and the Lord himself. And so basically, yeah, he considers the demigods to be equal to that of Lord Vishnu, or the holy name of the demigods, or the name of the demigods. And then, he doesn't obey the order of the spiritual master. Actually, you can see he's disobeyed all 10 offenses, basically. And yeah, he doesn't understand the holy name, Nama Tattva. So he's speculating on the nature of the name. And he's also doesn't have, faith in the holy name. And he's also committing offenses while chanting the holy name. And he's also committing sinful activities while chanting the holy name. And he's also, let's go through the whole list. He's inattentive, and he's also preaching the glories of the Lord to everybody. He has no discrimination. If he's preaching, he's just blasting people. That's a Kanishta. Just like when I first came to the Krishna consciousness movement, I was dissuaded from being a devotee because I was blasted by the devotees who were preaching Krishna consciousness. So that means Kanishta. So there's no discrimination. He considers chanting just to be a ritual. So all 10 offenses are being committed by the Kanishta. So one wants to be a Madhyamadikari, one has to stop committing those offenses. And the way you stop committing the offenses is very easy. You understand Nama Tattva, you understand the Sambandha Gyan, that means material energy, spiritual energy, Krishna's identity, and the relationship between them. And basically, you serve the Vaishnavas, you instruct those who are innocent, and you avoid those who are faithless. You don't hate them, but you avoid those who are faithless. Worship the Supreme Personality of God and serve the Vaishnavas. So anyway, that's our duty right now. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was preaching to the faithless. And as a result, there were attempts on his life. And if we do that, there'll be attempts on our life too. Or at least we'll be in trouble, put in jail or something like that. Let's say if you go into some country like Iran, you start having Harinam on the street, then you'll be crucified or whatever they do there to people. So anyway, but Prahlad Maharaj, why was he able to do that? First of all, he was seeing Krishna in everyone's heart. He had full faith in Krishna. And he also understood Abhaya Sattva Samshuddhi Jnana Yoga Vivasatahi. He was free of all fear. I mean, the rest of us would be very fearful being put in a situation with Hiranyakashipu. And also, he didn't care if he died or lived. Narayana Parak Sarve Nakutasana Bhiviti Swarga Bhavarga Narakeshu Apitul Yarta Darshana. He was the topmost devotee of Narayan, Krishna, or Vishnu. And he understood he took birth, he would be preaching wherever he went. Whether he went to Narayana Parak Sarve Nakutasana Bhiviti Swarga, whether he went to Swarga, the heavenly planets, Apavarga got liberated, or Nadakeshu, he had to go to hell. He didn't care. That's fearless. I mean, how many of us are fearless like that? That's a sign of a Mahabhagavad. Can you imagine, someone tells you, you have stage 4 cancer, or, I've given you 1 week to live. What would you do? Start shaking, call the doctors, and you're going to have a second opinion, third opinion. Like Prabhupada, it's interesting, the devotees were talking about World War III with Prabhupada. At that time, World War III, or the potential World War III, was there, because Russia and the United States, they were really facing each other, especially in Cuba. There's that whole Cuba Missile Crisis. And even Prabhupada at one point said, there'll be a world war and everything will be destroyed. Prabhupada said it was good for preaching. So devotees were getting very nervous, and they were asking Prabhupada, what are we going to do? Should we stockpile our vegetables? What are we going to eat? What's going to happen if we have nothing to eat? And Prabhupada said, very nonchalantly, we'll die. I mean, it's like yesterday I got on an airplane and I flew to here. And it's just very nonchalant. You go on the airplane, goodbye, We expect to see everybody again, even though we may not see everybody again. And, so what? Get on an airplane. Don't leave us, Guru Maharaj. That's all right, I'm flying away, whatever. Cool down, People crying like I'm dying or something like that. And then, but for me, it's just like, whatever. It doesn't matter. I go every place, they cook for me, too much, it doesn't matter. It's all the same indigestion wherever I go. So, of course, that's what I think of eating. Yeah, I think there's no problem going to a place because there's always enough food. There's always someone to do my laundry, right? I just need to throw the clothes on the floor and then they're magically done. And always someone to pay my bills, so I don't care. So Prahlad Maharaj is like that too. He said, I don't care, because you kill me, what can you do? Just like in that movie, of course I'm always thinking of that movie now, because that's a problem with watching movies, isn't it? It's a good movie, but I watch it so many times, I'm thinking of it day and night. So like in that movie. Yeah. So, but I show it to devotees. I don't just watch it myself. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, so basically, you have that section of the movie where these followers of Hiranyakashipu are marching with Prahlad Maharaj up the hill. Really a touching section. And, they're saying, how can we kill you? And he says, just do your duty. The king has ordered you, and he's standing there by the cliff. Right?
Yeah.
And would any of us do? I tried to run away. But he was even obedient as his son, isn't it? I would have escaped from the place if it was me. Because I don't want to die. Anyway, so he's just standing there on the cliff, and the same on these particular Rakshasas or whatever they were, demons, they had a change of heart. They said, how can I do this? Yeah. And one of them was just like kneeling down and just looking the other way. See how I remember every part of this movie? Yes. He's kneeling down. And he pushes Prahlad Maharaj over, and Prahlad Maharaj is just like calm as anything. Hare Krishna, Om Namo Vasudevaya, Om Namo Vasudevaya, Om Namo Vasudevaya. Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the faith.
Faith.
That's faith.
Yes.
And he doesn't know if he's going to die or live. Because he tells them beforehand, you're not going to be able to kill me. But do we have that faith? We should. But the question is, do we have that faith? Like we see Prabhupada had that faith. Came to America. I mean, he could have easily passed away after 2 heart attacks in the boat. Easy. He could have passed away in the boat. But after 2 heart attacks, I mean, if I had 1 heart attack, I'd just like, oh my God. Just time for retiring. Isn't it? Time for retiring, all right. Just let me lie in bed and get a heart operation. And of course, at that time, I don't think they had bypass surgery. No, they didn't have bypass surgery then. But probably, so fearless. Abhaya sattva samshuddhi yana yoga vivastiti. That one becomes fearless is Bhagavad Gita verse. Because one has jnana yoga. Jnana means knowledge, but yoga means the connection to knowledge too. Yoga means to connect. And yoga also means to connect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Comes from the Sanskrit root yuj, which means connection. Like in English, we have the word, yoke? Like you yoke an oxen. So that means connect the oxen to the reins or whatever. And so, because he has realized knowledge, that means Mahabhagavad. So for the rest of us, don't try it. So that's one point here in this verse. It's really interesting, isn't it? When you preach, actually there's more I want to elaborate on this. Not only do you avoid preaching to those who are envious or could threaten you or could be driven away from Krishna consciousness, you have to understand how much you can preach to people who are receptive. In other words, if you're going to preach, I even hate to use that word preach, although we use it all the time. If you're going to share Krishna consciousness with others, first of all, you have to know who you're talking to, and you have to market Krishna consciousness. We are in the business of marketing. And what does that mean? You identify the needs of your clients. Which are the people you're preaching to? They're your clients. Now, you're not trying to make a profit from them, that's true. I'd exploit them or whatever. But you really have to understand their needs, not only their spiritual need. Obviously, everyone needs Krishna consciousness. That's right. So I can't approach everyone on that basis. You need Krishna consciousness, Krishna Kesava. So you should surrender. Take sannyas. Travel with me. I think I need another guru here,
At least he's honest, he doesn't want to.
So I have to deal with him and everybody. Even people who are already Krishna conscious. I have to understand, disciples, it's really important. It says the spiritual master's duty is to understand the psychophysical nature of the disciple. It means basically you have to be an analyst, a psychoanalyst, not financial analyst. So you really have to understand that everybody you talk to, it's interesting. Prabhupada did that. Oftentimes the devotees would say about Prabhupada that when he looked at me, it was like looking at my soul. Now, I can't say that for sure, that he was looking at your soul, but Prabhupada was analyzing people. Just like one time, Prabhupada was giving class and everybody was sleeping in the class, because everybody had stayed up the night before preparing for Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, it's only by Krishna's mercy this movement is going on. So Prabhupada... Isn't it?
Yeah.
And he's just like, and everybody, imagine you look out. It's like that in the beginning days. Sometimes we had to send devotees around with a little spray bottle and spray the to keep everybody away. But Prabhupada was like that, and that's why he was so successful. He looked at the Americans and he marketed Krishna consciousness, stay high forever. For those of you who don't know what stay high forever means, it's a drug phrase. Because people used to take drugs. Are you high yet? Because they were low. But anyway, are you high yet? So Prabhupada said, stay high forever. And people, oh, it's good marketing, isn't it? Love feasts. There were never love feasts in India before. Did you ever go to a traditional temple and the people said, there's a love feast here? And you go to Sri Rangam and love feast, Sri Rangam. Or Tirumala, love feast. Or Rishikesh, there's a love feast. I mean, you never experienced that in India, isn't it? I mean, it's just like love feast. It's like, of course, I was in Fiji, I mentioned the same thing. Fiji, love feast means the natives would have a feast on you. It's true. This is Cannibal Island. Yeah. That was their love feast, your dinner. So, can you imagine Prabhupada saw it? Love feast. All right, so it became love, because everybody was it was the hippie years, and everybody was into love. There were songs. Oh, annoying. Good to see you. Nice haircut. Much better than last time. So there's one song. All you need is love, love. All you need is love, love. So Prabhupada heard that, and he just said, okay, love feast. And then so many different preparations. I mean, where's that ever been done in any traditional temples in India? No. That you would have a giant feast, with halwa, pakoras, sweet rice, lubjamans, mention all the sweets. Anyway, so that's why I used to cook. And, a few subjects. So, and probably would make it all himself. I mean, that's marketing. Yeah. Right? Yes. Probably knew everyone's mentality. He let them have kirtan with an upright piano, just strumming the strings of an upright piano or playing a bass drum. I remember in the early days, it was like that. Things were much more open, at least for Western people. People would come to the temple and you'd have like a big basket full of different instruments that anybody could play. Like a triangle and gong and everything like that. And everybody would just get together and have like a festival. Every day was like that, a festival. And so anyway, that's marketing for Krishna consciousness. So we've been talking about this in Fiji a little bit too. That, for example, we have to figure out what the people need. And what I've analyzed before and not only me, but the other devotees who have analyzed these things, and Prabhupada too, that people, especially people from India, people from Fiji, they're attracted to like community, like that. And because they're attracted to community, we have to present people with a community, which is not bad because that's what we're supposed to have, International Society for Krishna. But we have to present people with a community of devotees who get along with each other. In Fiji, that's a challenge. Here, you all love each other. Anyway, no party spirit. In Fiji, it's like that. I have to keep preaching about that again and again and again. People have these guru groups and these, even like brothers. You have two brothers, one open up, they both own temples in the same city, and they don't allow the people from one, their temple to go to the other temple. So, who's going to join? You say join Krishna consciousness and be happy, but people basically have a need for social interaction, friendship, that's just life. We're not like Babajis, Babajis or yogis in the Himalayas. So we have to be aware of people's needs. And if we're not, we're going to be like violating the principle of preaching to the faithless, because we're going to be driving people away from Krishna consciousness. People need nice music. So you have people like Radhika Das, who everybody knows is my favorite, and who basically attracts thousands of people to chant the holy name. And of course, Gauramani, her own style. Everybody has their own style. And so that's the way to bring people to Krishna consciousness. That's the way to create a revolution of the misdirected lives of an impious civilization, by marketing Krishna consciousness. And that's compassion. Not what Prahlad Maharaj is doing. But if you're a Mahabhagwat, you can preach that way. How about that? Because you have the ability to save someone, even if they try to kill you. Like Lord Nityananda. Because, of course, simply to say he's a Mahabhagwat would be minimizing him. He's God.
Yes.
So he has that ability. He could go to these two drunkards who are violent, women hunters, whatever, killers, and he could say to them, chant Hare Krishna. And he's risking his life. Mata, the whole story. I'm not going to tell it because it's the most famous story. He's risking his life. But because he's on that level, that sort of preaching is okay. We saw Prabhupada even did that. Like Prabhupada one time was talking to a professor of Indology, and Prabhupada came out and said, "You're a rascal." He's a professor, PhD. I mean, if I did such a thing, oh my God. You're a rascal. And the guy took it. Because Prabhupada's a Mahabhagwat. He can rectify someone. So Prahlad Maharaj had that ability. It wasn't a lack of compassion. For us, it's a lack of compassion to preach like that. It's violence. It's actually committing violence to the jiva soul to preach like that. Because we're supposed to be Majjamadhikaris, which means find out what they need, present Krishna consciousness in a package, whether it's the dress style, whether it's the music, whether it's the community, whether it's the food. If you can attract more people to Krishna consciousness by giving them cookies than gulab jamuns, then do it, you rascal. Right? Don't, just like we have to preach to Westerners here. So don't think that, Indian food is going to be, some of it will be attractive to them. But don't think that, gulab jamuns, I remember in the old days, they always would give out gulab jamuns, people would hold them in their hands as it was dripping down. And it got all over their clothes. Sugar water. So that's why Prabhupada instituted Prabhupada cookies. When I went on preaching programs with Prabhupada, they always tell that story. When I preached a program with Prabhupada, I brought a whole plate of Prabhupada cookies with me, and I forgot to give them out. And I was apologetic to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada took a lot of the cookies later on. But Prabhupada had cookies. And that's why Prabhupada cooked in ghee. Sorry about that, I always talk about that. You all love oil. 10W30. Isn't it?
Yeah.
God, no wonder how everyone gets sick. So anyway, that's really the point. That's what we can learn from this particular verse. Now, there's another point I wanted to make about the verse. Let me look at it. I'll make quite a few points you can make. Oh yeah. One point is, in the mode of passion, like Hiranyakashipu was in the mode of passion, demons are in the mode of passion. You can conquer the senses. Sometimes. Because as Krishna describes, that's why Hiranyakashipu is thinking he's a better conqueror of the senses than Prahlad Maharaj. Because he did so much austerity that I don't know any devotee who could do that austerity, standing on the tip of your toes for what, like 100 years, having all your flesh melt away. Like in that movie, going back to the movie. Oh my God, he looked hellish.
Yeah.
Isn't it? He wasn't as handsome guy like he used to be. He was handsome. Anyway, you can ask the ladies what they thought. He was handsome. But I thought he was good looking. I mean, apart from the teeth. He went to the dentist. So anyway, so he looked hellish standing up there in that one leg, for so many years. Brahmaya Namaha, Brahmaya Namaha. That's a lot of determination. A lot of determination. I mean, when I hear it's a fast day, it's just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? But he didn't eat. I mean, there's no record of like Kayadu bringing him food every day because she was with Narada Muni.
Yeah.
So he was there, not eating, not drinking. And that takes a lot of determination, isn't it? That's the mode of passion. Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, the mode of passion, or determination of the mode of passion, is due to a desire for fruitive results. Self-centeredness. So you see passionate people are so, like one person, Elon Musk, for example. He sleeps in his factory, he's so dedicated. That's why people granted him like $1 trillion salary. You read about that?
Yeah.
He has to produce. It's not just like, here's the money, buddy. But if he produces his work, and he'll do it if he remains alive. I'm almost sure he'll do it because of his determination. How many of us have that sort of determination, Drita Vrata, to serve Krishna or to do anything? We're Bohu Shaktas Twanantascha, which means our determination has been a branch. I don't feel so good today. Let me take the day off. If you ever in charge of a business, dealing with employees is so difficult because they want to take a day off. Children got sick. That's why whenever I do any building project, I don't use devotees. One time I did a building project and I ended up doing all the work myself, building a temple in New Goloka. And because the devotees, they would take prasad in the morning, take a little nap, and talk during the prasad. And maybe a little nap. And then it got time for noon prasadam. 1 o'clock it was prasadam again. And then, there's always chatting after prasadam and social life after prasadam. And I'm there just working my fingers to the bone, building a temple. I said, at least can you go out and buy some building materials? And so I send them out to buy building materials. And then they stop at the electronics store to look at all the latest gadgets on the way back. Yeah. So, no real focus on the goal. And the only way I've been able to, build buildings, do things like that, focus on certainly some days you don't feel well, you feel tired, aches and pains, you just do it. Like Prabhupada. Can you imagine? You can hear in Prabhupada's voice when he's giving class sometimes. He's completely exhausted. And he's coughing and everything like that. But he gets into it, and once he gets into it, you actually see the bodily symptoms disappear, which is interesting. Like in the final days, Prabhupada was giving lectures in a pandal, and devotees had to carry him up. He's very, very weak. And he starts speaking. It's pretty weak. The speech is very weak. And then he becomes like a lion about 10 minutes into the speech. Because you just overcome that. You just, determination. Anyway, Hiranyakashipu, mode of passion. And you see every successful person in this world. Actually, I was just reading about another successful person who's the one in charge of Facebook. That it's interesting. You learn from reading things in the material. I do that all the time. And so he came up, he started Facebook in his university as a way for the students to, share their things. It was just like a student thing. And it was so attractive that Google offered him $1 billion for it. And he said no. And everyone thought, you are crazy, buddy. So offers me $1 billion. So all right. Not to give up Krishna consciousness, never do that. But, give them my Tesla at least. For $1 billion. So anyway, can you imagine? That means you're set for the rest of your life. If you get $1 billion US, you're set. You don't have to worry about anything. You can just enjoy life, travel around the world, go see the Harbor Bridge here, get bored to death, But he had a vision. And his employers thought he was crazy, his family thought he was crazy, but his determination was there. Let me develop this. And ultimately, he has a company, Facebook, which became Meta right now, because he developed WhatsApp and everything like that. A company that makes hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And that's determination. You see behind every successful person, there's that Ekeha Kurunandana, the one point of determination. So Hiranyakashipu was quite good at controlling his senses. For the wrong reason. One in the mode of ignorance, no. He never goes beyond dreaming, procrastination. I'll do it tomorrow. Putting off for tomorrow what you can do today. Saying tomorrow. It's like someone, I remember at the university, when I went to the university, most students were like that. They do all-nighter before the exam. And they forget every damn thing they learned right after they took the exam. Whereas I was a good student. I would keep up with the work throughout the semester. I went to sleep at the normal time. It was impassioned. That's goodness. That's determination, the mode of goodness. So we have to get that sort of determination. And our determination has to be based on ultimately pleasing Krishna and Guru. That's my focus. I ask people oftentimes, what is your goal in life? I was visiting someone with New Zealand, and I asked him recently, what do you want? It was an interesting story. He's married to a lady who's chanting 16 rounds. She's really like Brahminical, and he's definitely not Brahminical. She comes to me and complains, my husband won't chant too much. How can I force him to chant? So there's a case of what we call pratilom marriage. That means a lady who's higher than the man. So in the Varnashram system. And so I go to the man sitting there, and he's feeling, this woman's abusing me. And now she called her guru to attack me. It's called in the reinforcements to attack me. So I just say to him, I didn't preach him. I just said to him, what is your goal in life? He said, I'd like to make $1 trillion. I go, ooh, sounds like Elon Musk to me. And I said, that's wonderful. You're a Vaishya and you're married to a Brahmin. You've got to recognize it. So be focused on your goal and give the results to Krishna. And I bless you to make $1 trillion. And I said, wow. There's my new guru. Please accept my obeisance. Just chant $16 billion a day, and you can take initiation. No, I didn't say that. But the point, yeah, that's also part of marketing Krishna consciousness. You got to see what people want. That's why Prabhupada wanted Varnashram. Simple like that. That's why Prabhupada wanted Varnashram, so people can be engaged at any level, and they don't necessarily have to take initiation. Yeah, initiation shouldn't be seen as the goal. And we should try to engage everybody according to their nature. That means don't push them to do something that they're not ready to fulfill later on. So anyway, getting back to the point, we can learn from Hiranyakashipu's determination. Prahlad Maharaj was very determined too, but for a spiritual purpose. So we can learn from these different circumstances, mode of passion, and we can engage the mode of passion in Krishna's service. If we find someone who is Kshatriya or is Vaishya, then we engage in Krishna's service. Or we find someone who is Shudra, then they like sensual things, let them draw it, let them paint, let them do music. Fine. That's why Prabhupada said, do what you're doing for Krishna. And if we find someone who's a Brahmin, and that's very rare, then we engage them in preaching Krishna consciousness. Like that. Simple. Okay, any questions or comments? Actually, it's interesting how many things you could derive from this one verse. And there's more points here in the verse, but we don't have time. Any other questions? Any questions?
We see that out of passion, how people are driven, determination.
Yeah.
And I was actually thinking of Rishabhadev, so he says that the Nunan Brahmate
Kurute Vikarmi Yarindriya Pritiya Pinhoti.
Yeah. So like how sinful people are really determined and they get married after sense gratification.
Not necessarily sinful people. Yeah. People, devotees in the mode of passion, like Arjuna was very determined too. It's not detrimental to be in the mode of passion. You can have consciousness, spiritual consciousness in the mode of goodness, and at the same time have your material activities and material. It's like a divided type of person, schizophrenia. So, like divided, you can have two aspects to your personality. One, when you're dealing in the material world, you can be in the mode of passion, and another one, when you're actually connected to Krishna. But you connect them both by using your mode of passion in Krishna's service. I mean, we don't want to criticize people who are in the mode of passion, because Arjuna was in the mode of passion. So many great kings were in the mode of passion. Why would they become a king? If they're in the mode of goodness, why would they become a king? It's just, they couldn't relate to it. I'm not saying Lord Ramchandra was the mode of peace, God. But, so many of these great Vaishnava kings were in the mode of passion. But they were great Vaishnavas at the same time, and they worshiped Krishna. Didn't necessarily, like Prabhupada said, Arjuna didn't have time to chant 16 rounds. So it's not necessarily demoniac to be in the mode of passion, because the mode of passion can be engaged in Krishna's service. The mode of passion and ignorance, the Vaishnavas can be engaged in Krishna's service. So we shouldn't see like that. We should see someone's mode and engage it in Krishna's service. It's very important to understand how to approach different people. I mean, to give you an example, like we're going to be doing, a fundraiser in North Carolina when I get back, and it's just to the Gujarati community. So our professional dancers said, well, can we do a dance about Lord Chaitanya? And I said, they're not going to be able to relate to it. Yeah. So you got to do something spicy about Radha and Krishna. So you have to really approach people according to their nature. And these are all businessmen, motel owners. Hotel, motels. And they're nice, they're really nice. And they're devotees. So we have to appreciate the modes of nature and the people in the modes of nature. And they can all be devotees. like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, you shouldn't try to do someone else's service, even if you can do better than them. You have to really ascertain modes of nature and encourage people in that mode. Not, give it up, your business. I mean, if I was to talk to Elon Musk, I'd just say, can you help? I wouldn't say, everything you're doing is Maya, you're an illusion. Because it's gonna go over his head, just make him angry.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Mahabhagavad, I do care, if he helps the movement.
But actually, what I was saying, Maharaj, like just seeing Hiranyakashipu,
Yeah.
being him, he's got some determined spiritually as well, some bit. But a person like that on their own, being determined, very passionate,
Yeah.
can they come on their own? Can they come to spiritual?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
If they take serving Krishna as the goal, they're using their passion to serve Krishna, like Arjuna. And he was already Krishna conscious, not coming to Krishna consciousness. He was serving Krishna according to his nature. I mean, that's like managing the ISKCON society. We have to really put people in the right position according to their nature. Sometimes in the GBC, we have a lot of people who are Brahmins and some people who are Kshatriya by nature. And they get very upset if I try to divide it. What do you mean I'm not a Brahmin? He said, you're a manager. I said, what? You're offending me. I said, you're a manager. You think you're better than me? No, I don't think I'm better. I don't think I'm better than Arjuna because I'm a sannyasi. That would be ridiculous. You can be a pure devotee as a Kshatriya, as a Vaishya, as a Shudra, doing your activities. It just makes sense to me. But don't think you can buy Krishna. That's another point. Like I see, maybe you've heard me talk about this. I see sometimes, like when they're trying to build a temple, they'll say, if you pay for one brick, you go back to Godhead, or you build yourself a house. It doesn't work like that. You can't buy Krishna. Krishna's only conquered by bhakti or devotion. You could still give everything to Krishna and still have no devotion. Because you're afraid. I mean, there may be some other motive. I'm afraid if I don't serve Krishna, if I don't do my artis, Krishna's going to punish me, and one of the families is going to get sick or something like that. That's useless. Niyamagraha, anyway. So the main thing is Krishna wants devotion. So if you're a Kshatriya, if you're fighting, and you're doing it to please Krishna, that's devotion. If you're a businessman, you want the money still. Yeah, I mean, some other like money. But you like money for Krishna. You dovetail in Krishna's service. You go back to God if you're doing it to please Krishna. I mean, Elon Musk, for example, I don't know what his motive is as far as the money. I mean, he has a whole bunch of different girlfriends that he's had children with. But anyway, that's another issue. It's not for me to criticize him. But if he would do it for Krishna, yeah, I'd be praying for him to make $1 trillion. Because he's a devotee and, he do so much for Krishna. So that's the point, determination. So we have to figure out what our motivate, not only in dealing with others, we have to find out what our motive nature is. And do it for, oh, you have a question? Yeah.
I've got two questions, actually. The first one is that I was having a conversation with one of my friends about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Yeah.
Maharaj, and the topic of his sannyas initiation came up.
Right.
So I explained to her how he took
Sannyas.
and she said that how is it different from what the Ritviks do. I tried explaining to her that there was nobody qualified to give him.
Yeah, well, basically, The explanation is that sannyas is just a social formality. It's not a spiritual function. And it's not a question of getting, you do get a mantra, but it's not. He took initiation from his spiritual master, Srila Gaura Babaji Maharaj. He got the mantra from him. So initiation is actually getting the mantra. So he didn't give himself the mantra or listen to a tape recording of the mantra. He got the mantra from a bona fide guru in disciplic succession. And he changed his social position. Taking sannyas, for example, I took sannyas. Of course, I didn't do it from a picture. One of my godbrothers gave me sannyas. But there's basically no spiritual master relationship with him. The relationship is, he did the formality. Like someone who performs your marriage. Hopefully you have some nice devotee performing marriage. Not some rakshasa, hopefully. But you really don't have an eternal relationship with the person who does your marriage ceremony, do you? I don't think so. It's like, it's an initiation guru. So there's marriage is a social samskara. And also sannyasa is a social samskara. It's used in Krishna's service. But it's a formality. So it really doesn't matter. Lord Chaitanya took sannyas from a Mayavadi. Right? So that's how you can answer them. He didn't care. I think Swarup Damodar Goswami also took sannyas from a Mayavadi. It was a social situation. Like, you don't care, you get who does your marriage. Maybe you do. But anyway. Here many people just hire, what is that called, the person who does? Celebrant, marriage celebrant. You don't care, you're just a government functionary.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He does your official marriage. You don't keep in touch with him for the rest of your life. You pay him some money, but it's just a fixed price. It's just a job.
Yeah.
So sannyasa is something like that. Obviously it's good to have a sannyas guru. But basically Ramanujacharya did the same thing when he took sannyas. He just left home and took sannyas. So it's a formality, social formality. I guess you can perform your own marriage. If you're a celebrant, can you do your own marriage? No, probably not.
Take a vow in front of someone.
Inside you have a mirror, I think, a vow in front of a mirror or something. I don't know. But, that's the way to explain it. It's not. No one in our sampradaya, in any bona fide sampradaya, has ever taken spiritual initiation from someone who's passed away. Never been done. It's against all the practices of every sampradaya in recorded history. Prabhupada, as a representative of a bona fide sampradaya, doesn't violate principles that are inviolable, that you can't violate. Like Prabhupada didn't have a smoking marijuana to make more devotees. It's just like there's certain principles you just can't go beyond. Those are called principles. Details you can change. Maybe how you dress, what type of tilak you wear. This is all detailed information. But principles are, you take initiation. Diksha is actually such a traditional principle in not only Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Ramanuja Vaishnavism, followers of the Kumaras, 4 Kumaras, Rudra Sampradaya, like that. And so, how can Prabhupada just, first of all, an acharya in the line of succession doesn't have the adhikar, the right to change those things. It's just not. You don't have the right. It's like, you have certain boundaries. Even if I was a great devotee, I'm certainly not. But even if I was, I don't have the right to go beyond those boundaries that have been set to us set in place by our disciplic succession. He doesn't have the right to do it. Even Lord Chaitanya didn't violate those things. Krishna didn't violate. Krishna went and took initiation from a spiritual master. So yeah. So the whole Ritvik argument is stupid because it's a violation of parampara. Okay, what's the other question?
The other question, Gurudev, is I had an argument with the same person about.
You have a lot of arguments here.
About Advait Vedant.
Yeah.
And how Lord Chaitanya interpreted it, not interpreted it, but actually rightfully called it Mayavad.
Yeah.
But her argument is that it should not be called Mayavad.
Why?
Because Advait is actually a different philosophy, and Mayavad is its misinterpretation. But I mean, the way I understood it is that Adi Shankaracharya purposely propounded this philosophy so that Buddhism could go away. So in a sense, it was Mayavad. But
Yeah.
If you could.
Yeah, you're dealing with strict definitions of the words. So, but Adi Shankara propagated the philosophy of Vivartavad. Vivartavad means basically that Brahman is under illusion. There's another type of impersonal philosophy called Parinamvad, which he rejected. Parinamvad means you have Brahman and it becomes transformed. We advocate, of course, that Shakti becomes transformed. That is, the only Shakti that becomes transformed is the material energy. The Jiva doesn't become transformed. But so anyway, that's called, we have our own Parinamvad, which is Shakti Parinam. But Shankaracharya, okay, getting back to the point, was against Parinam because it says Brahman, by its nature, can never be transformed. So therefore, according to him, we are all Brahman, all God. That's my body. And somehow or other, when we come to realization, we'll realize that we're God because it's all one. It's just an illusion that we're separate people. But everything's one. That's what Adi Shankara taught, because he was against Parinamvad. Does that make sense? So, anyway, in other words, we're in Maya and God's in Maya. Because we're God, we're in Maya. I mean, we're Brahman, we're all one. Brahman, in other words, Parinam would mean Brahman can become divided. So the problem with Shankara's philosophy is that then if you say Brahman is under illusion, then illusion becomes more powerful than Brahman, and therefore illusion becomes God rather than Brahman being God. And then just the name Brahman, which means the greatest, is a misnomer. So, anyway, let me speak to your friend. He probably won't even understand what I'm saying. She probably won't understand what I'm saying.
Thank you.
I don't think she'll become a devotee. I mean, So anyway, you got to be careful how you preach to her, speak to her. Just say, yes, everything's one and different simultaneously. That's the way I was thinking. Yeah, you're right. Everything's one and different simultaneously. So Chinshabeta Beta Tata really.
I never argue with people who don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, with my bodies, I don't. I mean, if you're a Mahabhagavad, you can do it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a Mahabhagavad. I mean, I would enjoy doing it, but it would drive the person crazy. It wouldn't help them in their spiritual life. And sometimes then they may lose faith in whatever, in Shankaracharya, and then they won't have faith in anybody. I don't know. So we have to really realize that certain point. People just come to you. You have to be able to answer their questions. Yeah. But I would just stick a sweet ball in their mouth or something like that. Does that answer the question? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, just one more question, then we'll get Prashad.
I think it's getting late.
What?
All I was just gonna say is, like you mentioned in the beginning that Prabhupada encouraged different groups to do different things. But is that possible in ISKCON society to do that, or it's not valid?
Well, I think ISKCON has to have many branches. You know, we can franchise.
It's like the Christians we have, but the
Yeah, the Franciscans, you know, you have all these different branches, and they're all working under the Pope. We don't need a Pope, that would be a disaster, but you know, we all work together, cooperate, we have to mature. I mean, in the beginning, the Pope wanted to get rid of St. Francis, you know, if you read the history, but after a while he had to accept him, so he got more mature. Most of the popes weren't too mature. Some of the popes had a lot of children. Anyways, a whole history there in the Catholic Church. But, you know, the church now is a pretty mature organization after over 2,000 years. Hopefully it's gotten mature. And they sort of reconcile unity and diversity, like Prabhupada talked about. So ISKCON is just a new organization. It's hard, like you tell a baby about unity and diversity, sorry. You tell a little kid, what does that mean? So ISKCON is like that. It's a baby. 50 years or whatever, you know, ISKCON was founded 1966. And so, yeah, it's like, how many years is that? About 50 years?
50, yeah.
50 years. 50, about 49 years. So, you know, if you find something that's just a baby, when the Catholic Church was 50 years old, I mean, God, they were killing each other, doing, God, I don't remember exactly, because I wouldn't remember. But it was a disaster. We're doing a hell of a lot better than they did after 50 years. So it takes time for an organization to mature. And, you know, we'll figure it out. Maybe in about 300 years. We'll figure out if the world is still here.
10,000 years it will have to go on anyway. In the golden age of Sri Prabhupada's mention.
Yeah, golden age. It may take a few atomic wars in the meantime to.
Things getting worse.
What's that?
Things getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting worse. I mean, it'll be up and down, and you know, it's like a graph. You know, sometimes we watch different currencies. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but the ultimate trend is down. So there's going to be like ups too. Yeah, ups. I'm not going to mention politics. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, it's a challenge.
When we were little, you know, it was different. Everybody used to be together.
In-
We used to go
In the beginning,
in the beginning, yeah.
yeah.
There was no commotion. They used to be all together.
Well, we were all the same age.
Principal, in those days, Srila Prabhupada was more interested in the results, like when my Guru Maharaj, like Prabhupada wanted Guru Maharaj to come back to India with the GBC again.
Yeah.
But when he saw that he was making these devotees, then he said, no, that's one.
Yeah.
And these other examples, like, I mean, in the beginning, like, Srila Prabhupada made a lot of changes. I mean, like the GBC, I mean, before, there were Gharistas and all that, but when Srila Gurudev became sannyas, he allowed that. So,
Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada, what I'm trying to say is, he looked at the results, not like,
Yeah.
for me, at the moment, ISKCON is more of a ritualistic, oh, this is it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yeah, it's become much more stagnant. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So we have to look at the results. Also, the results are not how many new devotees, but how many good devotees we have. You know, so Prabhupada, at one point, Prabhupada said, stop making devotees. Boil the milk. So Prabhupada, balanced things from time to time. Because so the devotees weren't sticking to things. And then at one point, before Prabhupada left, he talked about Varnashram, which I've been talking about a lot recently. How to institute Varnashram.
Is it possible?
Yeah, like I said, to recognize people's psychophysical nature and encourage them according to that nature, and don't make it a point that in order to be a devotee you have to be initiated.
Isn't that spirituality does not start until you seek shelter from a person. Might not be a physical.
You take shelter, but I have a lot of people taking shelter, and they just they're different nature. I mean, like us in Fiji, some of you may have heard of this. There's one really nice devotee, Ramchandra. He's a devotee born in a devotee family. He's not initiated, and just probably won't come to the point of chanting 16 rounds for a long time. But he's a boxer. So he came to me begging for blessings before his boxing match. So instead of saying, "Doesn't mind, I want to just chant Hare Krishna, give up those gloves." Me, I'm not into boxing, obviously. And so I gave him his blessing. He said, "Yes, I have a video of this. When he went in to fight, he had the Hanuman Chalisa play."
Set him up, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not wonderful. I'm not going to push him to take initiation. It's going to be artificial. So he's going in there and Hanuman like that. Everyone was cheering. And his opponent, some Fijian guy, comes in, some Fijian song, and just like, He didn't win, but he didn't lose. It was a draw because he broke some rules of boxing. But he's big, Really big. I mean, you think he's going to start doing deity worship?
Good.
I mean, you would have to have a dhoti with twice the fabric.
He's covered the altar.
Like I was saying that one of my family came and said, "Oh, you are a nice pujari. Why don't you encourage my husband to do a pujari?" I said, "Mataji, he's a Bhajanandi. You can't expect a Bhajanandi to come and start."
That's right.
You gotta know you're that's
right.
When the days gone by, they used to give you Siddha Deha, your eternal nature, and that's how you do it. And same thing. You gotta know what your nature is and stick to that.
That's a fact. So, this guy's a boxer. You have Shudra nature, obviously. Or Kshatriya, one of the two. And so you just encourage him. It's nice, isn't it? And he's preaching. He's really a nice guy, Whew. Wish all my disciples were so nice like that. You gotta exercise. So, I was in ecstasy with him. And I'm showing the video to all the devotees. Look how he's boxing. So, and, he came to see me later and said, I'm really proud of you, so he feels encouraged. And that's how you have to deal with people.
Well, I've been told some devotees that after taking initiation that I'm not happy now.
Because they're not being engaged according to their nature.
No, it's not forced, it's just that.
Yeah, because they're being forced into being Brahmins when they're not actually Brahmins.
Yeah, and also if you don't do this, I'll tell you Guru, before he was just easy going now there's a lot of restrictions that are this and that.
Yeah, things have become too complex, too ritualistic. And it discourages the majority of people from even becoming Brahmins, what to speak of other activities. Yeah, so many activities. And then there's a barrier to taking more responsibility in Krishna consciousness. Like you can wait in certain temples, which are nameless here in Australia. You have to wait 10 years to get first initiation. And then, what to speak, you can't take responsibility. What intelligent person is going to want to stick around like that? Like in Fiji, we have this nice youth group that I've been dealing with. We give them responsibility. They run the festivals at the temple. They have their own preaching sangha. They do so many things. And these kids, well, not kids, I mean, in the 20s, there's a kid. And, you know, they're very educated too. Some of them are lawyers and stuff like that, lawyers, doctors, and nurses. And they have this group, they work together. I mean, it's just something something I can't get the adults to do. They are adults, but it's something I can't get the old people to do.
Sydney Temple, the youths do the same.
What?
Sydney Temple, the youths.
Yeah, it's the same.
do the
So,
same.
so you know, the new generation is very exciting.
Yeah.
It's very exciting because they can work together. They're such friends because I see them all sitting together. We had all these programs in Fiji with them. And they're all sitting together, sharing prasadam, joking and laughing with each other and taking responsibility. Wow.
Different generation.
It's a great generation. The next generation is great. Fiji, I mean, at least what we've been dealing with in Fiji is fantastic. I'm really proud of those kids. So, it's time for prasadam. Okay, on that happy note, anyone who's a boxer here?